Hola, mi Kipsters, and welcome to Ms. Rivera's art room. We know the mantra, let's do it. Just like Simon says, follow my hands. Okay, today we're going to be working on an upcoming Earth Day endangered species animals. Okay, so if you have two colors, awesome. I mean, if you have like construction paper, cool. I know in the classroom I am going to pass out construction paper, and you're basically going to need a rectangle for the body and more or less a square for the heads. Okay, but look what I'm doing on purpose. On purpose, I'm very selective about my colors because this exercise is about complementary colors. So when you look at a color wheel, yellow goes straight across to purple. And that's how I know it's complementary besides looking at this chart. The purple can be lavender, the purple can be a dark purple. So just look at the color wheel and you know that yellow goes to purple and that makes it a complementary color. And that is how we're going to make these animals today. So your background paper can be yellow if you like. And then your rhino, the rhino or the elephant can be a different color. So as you can see on my yellow paper, I've already started to cut the rectangle and the square. And I'm doing this because I want it to fit nicely inside and overlapping the purple paper. So first I need to kind of make the back of the rhino. And the way I'll describe that, if you see my finger moving, it's kind of like a rainbow, like an upside down smile. So if you like, the best thing that I recommend to my students is to do it with a pencil. That way, if you feel like, oh, I need to erase this part, you're good. Okay? So remember, it looks like a smile or a happy face. In a second, we're going to get our scissors out and we're going to cut that little back of the rhino. Okay? Excuse me. Now, if you don't have color paper, don't worry. Like towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to do this with white paper and watercolor. So some people might use construction paper. The people in the classroom are using construction paper. Some people are going to use watercolor paints or tempera paints. So I want you to do this using complementary colors, but you can have your freedom of choice of what art supplies to use, okay? So you see that's already showing me that's the back of the rhino. And this square right here is going to be the head, okay? So what I'm going to do now is either look for a piece of color pencil, a piece of chalk, maybe even a crayon, and I'm going to use a pastel chalk, but I want to use a yellow that's going to show up brighter than my regular yellow. So I found one right there. It's very, very light, but then I'm going to add a little bit of pops of light orange to it because what I want to do is create value. And there's going to be some parts that are dark and some parts that are going to be light, okay? I also have my Sharpies to be able to make the toes and faces. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and use my colored pencils, okay? So here are the two nostrils. The two nostrils for the rhino. I know you can't really see it right now, my friends, but that's the eye. And you can even add pestañas, you can even add eyelashes. Okay, so I got some of it ready and I'm just darkening it extra here so it can stand out more. And then I'm going to start placing them on the purple paper and gluing them. But because I'm going to use chalk or crayon or marker or whatever tool I have as a problem solver to go around the back, see how I'm shadowing it? I know I did the shadow and we did the shadow in some of the Say Hello to Zorro pug. And again, this is just like a U shape, remember? It's like a tall, like a tall rainbow, okay? So I'm already seeing that the yellow shows very, very little. So I'm going to go ahead and switch in a second and add more like an orange yellow because I can barely see and I want it to have contrast for you to be able to see the difference, okay? So I'm looking for the orange and I'm going to highlight it, not too much. I'm just going to make a pop of color by adding one line to the yellow that I already had rubbed. And then this is where the 2 feet are. And it looks awkward right now, but this is where the 2 feet are going to be. And what we have to do now is kind of rub, smear, and blend the chalk or the oil pastel or the pastel that we're using. And it's okay if it gets to the purple paper because we're going to be able to flip that and use the other side. Okay, so now here, the side of the face also is going to be a different shade of yellow. And then the chinny chin chin. That's the 2 areas that you want to add the value contrast to these animals. So I'm going to go ahead and do orange and smear it also with my finger. Or some kids, just grab a napkin. You'll be fine with a napkin. I know some people don't like to have their hands dirty or anything, and that's definitely understandable. Okay, so now what we're going to do is first place where we're going to place it. So I flipped the orange, excuse me, I apologize. I flipped the purple paper over, and from right there, what I'm going to do is kind of something that I recall teaching you, my friends, is that my kipsters, you want to glue both sides. You want to make something strong and last, and that way it can your artwork can last. Okay, so you don't want to be walking in parts and pieces of your animal leave your work because it wasn't glued on properly. So I'm way to the far right, and my feet are almost to the bottom of the screen. And I went ahead and pasted that, and then I flipped it over and did, go. I went ahead and flipped it over, and that way I can use the clean side. Okay. So I'm gonna put glue on the back of the head of the rhino. And then we'll start with either a black marker, a black pen, a black Sharpie. It could even be, it could be like a black paint if you have paint. Okay. So we kind of glued these easy endangered animals together using shapes that we use in class and we use in math. So you definitely use the square and the rectangle. And right now I'm pressing the back, and this is why so it can stay sturdy, and I call it plancha, which means iron or press. So I'm going to put glue anywhere that I see that it might be slightly passing up. And then next, I still need to do the ears, the horn, and the tail, and the toenails, right? So watch this. I'm going to grab my Sharpie, and I'm going to do the horn. And I'm adding these little lines to add texture. Okay. Next, I'm going to make sort of like the 2 ears, and it looks like 2 bows. I'll darken that in a little bit. And lastly, I'm going to add like a triangle. Oops, excuse me. The line between the legs, and then the rainbow, which is an upside down U, an upside down U, an upside down U. And those are going to be the rhinos. The rhino's little toes. Okay. Alrighty, here we go with the tail. I'm doing a straight up line, now like a triangle, and then all I have to do is make a star. Dash, slash, slash, slash. And we are done with the amazing endangered rhino. Let's help take care of this rhino and learn more about it so we can help it. And so just thickening the final details to the star here at the tip of the rhino's tail. Remember, rhinos are extinct, or excuse me, rhinos are endangered. My apologies. Rhino are endangered and they're hunted constantly for the horn or the horns that they have at the top. And poachers are the people who sell them and get money for like those extinct animals or for those rare animals that are about to become extinct. So we need to make sure that we help spread awareness of that, okay? Again, now we're going to change to a different character. I'm looking at orange and blue, and then there's different hues of it, orange and blue. So what we're going to do now is look at our color wheel. Orange and blue go together. That means they're complementary colors, okay? So again, you can look at the different shade, a darker blue with a different orange. Green is going to go to red. So this is something important to know when you're thinking of complementary colors. And then here in the color wheel, I love it how it shows you all the different blues, not just regular strong blue or royal blue. It gives it like if you add a paint, white paint, what color would you get? Okay, so for this, I'm using the complementary colors of orange and blue. I'm going to try to cut my rectangle again and my square. Okay, the rectangle is for the legs and the back part of the elephant, and then the square is going to be the head. So don't be afraid to trim here if you like a better proportion, if it looks more realistic to you. So I already went ahead and cut a piece off, and I'm going to save the scraps for any type of future project. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is getting my paper ready. Okay, so that's almost a rectangle. And that's pretty high. I can tell already that it's high because I want to have room for the tail to show. So I can trim it if I like. And then here with my color pencil, I am doing the curve again, like a happy face. Okay. And I'm going to cut that in just a moment so that way it's curved. Okay, so that almost looks like the body of our pug that we did last week. Okay, now I'm going to look for a color that stands out and to the edge of the elephant. And then the line in the middle is the legs, okay? And you will be able to darken it right now. So you kind of want to be smooth and furry. So you're going to be rubbing and smoothing out that chalk. Whether you're using matte pencils, which are called color pencils, I'm sorry, you might need a little piece of Kleenex or a piece of napkin. Okay, so now with the black crayon, I'm doing the little upside down U's, upside down rainbows. In other words, the little toes of the frog. Excuse me. I apologize. The little toes of the elephant. Okay. So now, just like I did with the rhino, I'm doing the side of the elephant face and the bottom. Okay, and the bottom is the chin for the animal. Okay, and I'm spreading and smearing the glue stick here. Okay, so I flipped it over because this side is the dirty side where all the chalk was. That's perfectly okay. Not to worry, my strawberries. Okay, next what we're gonna do is start gluing these down in the position. And I always like to put the glue on both sides, the side of the artwork and the side of the construction paper, so it lasts you long. Okay? So now I'm going to put some in the back and at least just do the star or crisscross in the middle like this. Okay, so I did crisscross all over. Awesome. Okay, gonna glue it and then iron it, iron it, iron it, press it, press it, press it. Okay, so that's the back part of the elephant. Now we're gonna add, what shape is this, Kipsters? I wonder what shape this could be. This shape is for a, let's see, it's a rectangle. Okay, so now I'm gonna place it, glue on Johnny's side also. Okay, here's the double glue on both sides, making sure that our hard work doesn't come off and leave us with missing parts here. Okay, so I'm gonna iron it down with my hand and make sure that I'm pressing it and pressing it. Okay, as you can see, here's the trunk for the elephant now. And then I'm also gonna add an ear. And I'm just using the color pencil here. So the ear is gonna go off the paper. Okay, if any of this goes too fast, always remember, Kipsters, use your problem solving skills and free to press uh, feel free to press play. And make sure, feel free to pause and do it at your own rhythm. Okay, so here I added the tail. Okay, here we go. Here's the tusk. Okay, here comes the eye. And I'm going to add texture lines to the trunk too in just a sec. Okay, Kipsters, so remember, don't worry, everybody's is going to be different and everybody's is going to look different. And as long as we're creating awareness and learning about these endangered animals and what we can do as humans to help them out and our earth out, is we need to create awareness. So maybe these cool little posters that we're working on can create awareness about not only endangered animals, but our planet and their habitat, which is their environment. So looking forward to that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking here, but what I'm going to show you is I'm going to make my own shapes, like the U, and color that in, and then the square. And my tip is when you're using watercolors to count 20. Count to 20 when you're rubbing the water. Count to 20, and that'll give you good, strong pigment. Okay? I'm going to rinse it out and have that. Okay, Kipsters, for the last one, you're basically copying the shapes that you saw me again do with the rectangle. That was the top of the rectangle was made into a happy face, and then we cut that down, and that's the shape it looks like, kind of like the dog's body when we were doing the say hello to Zorro pug Zorro. But again, I'm going to use complementary colors. In this case, my rhino is going to be purple, and then the background, I'm just going to add a little pop of yellow color. So you can do your rhino yellow, and then add purple pop, or whatever color in the color wheel, the complementary colors. Your rhino could be red, and then your grass and land can be green, because red and green are complementary colors. But I'm going to let you go ahead and just enjoy and watch. And if you're in the classroom, please ask me if you have any questions whatsoever. But the rest of the remaining of this little video is just me using the blow dryer to try to dry the wet water paint so I could continue the demo or the display with you. Okay, but just sit tight, and here's an example of the rhino. Here we're adding the square attached to the A, or I'm sorry, it's actually a rainbow or upside down U. So hope you enjoy watching the rest of this video. Take your time, feel free to pause or rewind, and enjoy the rest of the video, okay? Have a good one, Kipsters. Enjoy.